video, we're going to use the Google Apps Script Editor to send data from our Google Sheet spreadsheet to a Slack channel. So in our prior video, we did the exact opposite, in which we retrieved this data from a third-party library and inserted it into our spreadsheet by making a GET request. In this video, we're going to do the opposite, in which we're going to make a POST request and posting this message to a Slack channel. So the way we do that is by going into our script editor and creating a new file. So the file, I'll call it Slack, but you can give it any name. So then it gives a default function. What I'd like to do is just copy paste the post request function that I have here and insert it right into our script. So what this does is that it's making a URL fetch request with two variables. So it's making a fetch request using a URL and an option. So the URL is what we define at the top. It's the link to the actual tool. What will determine what we're actually sending with that request is determined by an option. So in the option we say, okay, we're posting data, we're not getting data, and we're using a payload variable to determine what data we're actually sending across. So with Slack, the payload will only consist for now out of text, and then this will be our message. So the only thing that I'm missing is our URL. So obviously, if you're interested in the finer details of this script, let me know. Happy to answer any questions on working with specific tools and how you can make specific API requests and working with API keys and authorization. With Slack, you don't need all that, so it's a good example to showcase what is actually doable. So if we go into Slack and then specifically go into api.slack.com, you can build like bots, workflows, message senders. So we want to start building our app. We want to create a new app, and we call this app tutorial. And then we just want to link it to a particular workspace. Once we have done that, we want to select incoming webhooks, as that's how Slack determines the way you can send messages. We then turn this on, and in the bottom we just want to select a channel. So in my case, I'm going to send to the product notifications development channel. So once you allow it, a message will appear in the channel saying an integration has been added to this channel. That's all fine. So the last step that we then want is in the bottom, copy paste this URL and insert that in here. So this is the URL that already has a unique code in there that's specific for our workspace and channel. So nobody else can use that. Then via the payload, we're going to determine the message. So if I now hit run, we should be sending a message to this particular channel. And as you can see, the tutorial bot sent our message. We can change the name of this tutorial and the image as well. So let me know if you're interested in that. Just leave a comment below and I'll give you some documentation how you can change that. So the next step is then to make this message somewhat dynamic so that we're actually sending this data that we're having. So to do that, we just have to retrieve that data. So let me just show you how to do that and get temporarily rid of this. So the way to do that, we can just uncomment this. And then we can first make sure that we're getting all the data. Perfect. So to do that, we need to define our spreadsheet and the tab that we're working in. So let's define a variable named spreadsheet, which we get by spreadsheet app.getActiveSpreadsheet. And then from that spreadsheet, we want to get the actual sheet, which is spreadsheet.getSheetByName. And the name of our tab is called Sandbox. And then from that sandbox, we want to get the range. And then with that range, we can get values. So var, so the variable of values will be sheet.getRange. And the range consists out of row 1, column 1, and then in this case we have 10 rows. So 10 and then 1 column. And then we want to get values. So to see if that worked, let's just post it to our terminal by doing logger.log values and hit run. Execution has started, and then we can see one array with our values in there. Perfect. So what I like to do then is to say, okay, we want to send a particular value of this. So let's say we want to send the fourth message from our values. So that would be values 4. Actually 3. So it starts at 0. So 3 will be the fourth title. Perfect. Okay. And then we just want to send that as a message. So we define values 3 as our message. So var message equals values 3. And then let's uncomment this. And then within text, we want to say our message equals, our text equals message. And then let's give that a go, see if that worked. What you can do is as well is add additional text with it. So for instance, if we say plus and then /n, and then we can type, let's do not enter, we can type our message. So let's save that and run it and see what got sent. Okay, so now we're sending the title, and then there's an enter, and we're sending our message. We can also add something in front of it. So let's say our favorite or our pick of the day equals, put some enters here, plus message. Save and run. So then it says our pick of the day equals this. So that's how you can take a variable from your sheet. Obviously you could send everything as well. You could send particular strings within there. When you're familiar with the code, you can just find your way around it. But in this tutorial, I just wanted to show you how you can use this example script to make these post requests and send data to a third-party app. In this case, we use Slack, but you can use any app that has a API available. So if you have any questions on other APIs, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, HubSpot, Slack, anything else really, let me know and I'll happily guide you around and see what we can build together. So I hope this was helpful, and see you in the next video.